heart. The Lord awarded him the potency to enjoy the illusory energy. The Lord offered him the daughter of Panchajan called Askini. Indeed, Daksh received his name because he was very expert in sex life. After awarding this benediction, Lord Vishnu disappeared. So we saw first example was like people like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu or like us who are going through severe body tortures to achieve sense gratification. Then we saw how Daksh, or rather we are seeing these days on the prayers, Hansgul prayers, that how Daksh is trying to please Lord Vishnu for sense enjoyment. Then yesterday I was just going through one session, so we will come across a pastime of Pururava or Aila, who is ancestor of Pandavas. So the pastime goes like Urvashi was captivated by Pururava's beauty and therefore she lived with him for some time. And Urvashi is the same Apsara which was given by Lord Vishnu to Indra. So it is like special Apsara. So she had committed some offense, so that's why she was cursed to come to planet Earth and she gets captured by Pururava. So she lived with him some time, but when she left his company, he became almost like a madman because he was so much in love with her. While traveling all over the world, he met Urvashi again at Kurukshetra, but she agreed to join him for only one night a year. He had so much lust in his heart that even while performing yajna, he thought of Urvashi instead of thinking of the master of yajna, Yagneshwar, Lord Vishnu. Later on, he was elevated to Gandharva Lok to be with Urvashi. Due to attachment to the goddess, King Pururava forgot his devotional service to the Supreme Lord and became more concerned with pleasing this beautiful young lady. Thus, he later lamented and sang. Uh, and that song is known as Aila Geet. And what is strange that this pastime of comes in ninth canto, towards the middle. And after that, at that time, devotees were given chapter by chapter translation. There was not a set of Bhagavatams given out there. So after ninth, we see that so he had pleased Vishnu and he got Urvashi, and he is very happy. And then the chapter ends. So devotees were a bit bewildered, like what happened? This is not in line with what we are understanding. But then Shilpavad again left the verses which were translated by his disciples later on because by that time he had already left. So when deprived of his wife Urvashi, Urvas or Aila was at first bewildered, but he tried controlling his lamentation and then he began to feel detachment. And finally in 11th chapter, Srila Prabhupada reveals the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, having thus chanted this song or Aila Geet, Maharaj Pururava, eminent among the demigods and human beings, gave up the position he had achieved in the planet of Urvashi. His illusion cleansed away by transcendental knowledge, he understood me to be the supreme soul within his heart, and so at last achieved peace. And in the 11th canto, 26th chapter, 35th verse, thus losing his desire to be on the same planet as Urvashi, Maharaj Pururava began to wander the earth free of all material association and completely satisfied within himself. So basically, he had again perfected his life. And finally, we could give example of Dhruv Maharaj, who as a 6-year-old child performed tapasya due to frustration, insults and revenge. But within 6 months, when he got darshan of Lord Vishnu, he felt ashamed of himself because within that 6 months, his heart had already transformed and he apologized. Even though he was a small child, that he only wanted to serve Lord Vishnu because he was insulted by his stepmother and who was told, okay, you go to Vishnu. When he went there, suddenly he did not feel that craving for the kingdom. Of course, that's another pastime that Lord Vishnu also understood what was in his heart, why he began this penances in the first place. So he gave blessings that okay, you will get this kingdom, and after that, your father's kingdom, and then you will get a kingdom, as he had mentioned, that bigger than my ancestor, like Brahmalok. So he was in Dhrulok, and when he attains that, then after having enjoyed everything, and he will be actually coming back to Lord Vishnu. That was the blessings he was given. And also that his enemies, so-called enemies, like stepbrother and mother were also taken care of. So Lord Vishnu understood all that. But he no longer desired that, Dhruv Maharaj. But Lord Vishnu still gave them benediction. So Srila Prabhupada says that one should accept voluntarily body inconvenience for the sake of knowing Vasudeva, because that is the way of real austerities. Otherwise, all forms of austerities are classified as modes of passion and ignorance. Passion and ignorance cannot end the miseries of life. Only the mode of goodness can mitigate the threefold miseries of life. And tapasya means I am feeling some inconvenience bodily, but I am tolerating. That is called tapasya. And this human life is meant for that tapasya, not that because my senses are demanding this satisfaction, I shall immediately offer. No, I should train myself in such a way that my senses may demand, my dear sir, give me this facility, and I will say, no, you cannot have. By following the instruction of acharyas, one is always freed from all material contamination, and thus one's life becomes successful, for one reaches the goal of life. This material world is miserable regardless of one's standard of life. Of this there is no doubt. Attempting to mitigate the miseries of material existence by material methods will never be successful. One must take to Krishna consciousness to become really happy, otherwise happiness is impossible. One might say that becoming advanced in spiritual life also involves tapasya, voluntary acceptance of some inconvenience. However, such inconvenience is not as dangerous as material attempts to mitigate all miseries. To advance in spiritual life, these things are essential, tapasya. Tapasya means voluntarily accepting something which may be painful, just like we are recommending no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating. So, those who are accustomed to these bad habits, for them, in the beginning it may be difficult, but in spite of becoming difficult, one has to do it. That is called tapasya. Or you could say that tapasya is coming out of our comfort zones. To rise early in the morning, those who are not practiced, is a little painful, but one has to do it. So this is called tapasya. According to Vedic injunctions, there are some tapasya that must be done. It is not I may do it or not do it. It must be done. Just like Mundaka Upanishad, it is ordered that one must go to the spiritual master. Tad vijnanartham sa gurum eva vigachet. So there is no question of voluntarily. It must be. The beginning is cleansing the heart because we are impure on account of dirty things within our hearts accumulated life after life in the animalistic way of life. So everything advancement of spiritual life, culture, tapasya means cleansing the heart. So this process, chanting the Mahamantra, the first installment of benefit is cleansing the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjana. And when the heart is cleansed, then he becomes eligible for being free from the clutches of Maya or the materialistic way of life. Without tapasya, you cannot make advancement in spiritual life or the life of knowledge. If you simply give away in the animal propensities of life, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and don't accept the process of tapasya, then your human life is failure. You have to accept some tapasya if you want to make solutions for the problem of life. Shukdev Goswami first recommended tapasya. The best process is to accept the instruction of the previous acharyas and follow them. Then God realization and self-realization become extremely easy. By following this easy method, one is liberated from the contamination of the material modes of nature, and thus one can certainly cross the ocean of nescience, in which there are many miserable conditions. By following the footsteps of the great acharyas, one associates with the Hansas or Paramhansas, those who are completely freed from material contamination. Indeed, by following the instruction of the acharyas, one is always freed from all material contamination, and thus one becomes successful for reaching one's goal of life. This material world is miserable, regardless regardless of one's standard of life. Of this there is no doubt. Attempts to mitigate the miseries of material existence by material methods will never be successful. One must take to Krishna consciousness to become really happy, otherwise happiness is impossible. One might say that becoming advanced in spiritual life also involves tapasya, voluntarily accept some inconvenience. However, such inconvenience is not as dangerous as material attempts to mitigate all miseries. It's again repeatedly being said. To be attached to material existence is ignorance because material existence is temporary and miserable. Therefore, devotees who are determined to perform tapasya, penances, and austerities to realize the self, and who are determined to become advanced in spiritual consciousness must give up the company of atheistic non devotees. Prahlad Maharaj maintained an attitude of non cooperation with the philosophy of his father, Hiranyakashipu, yet he was tolerant and humble. Hiranyakashipu, however, being a non devotee, was so polluted that he even prepared to kill his own son. He justified this by putting this forward the logic of amputation. Like if some body part is rotten, then you have to cut it. Even when just one is like just a pig living in a very filthy condition, eating stool, and still he's thinking very happy. Therefore, he's getting fat. When one feels happy, I'm very happy, he becomes fatty. So you'll find these pigs, they are very fatty. But what do they eat? They eat stool and live in filthy place. But they think we are happy. So this is Maya's illusion. Anyone who's living in a very abominable condition of life, Maya by illusion, he's thinking that it's all right. He is living very perfectly, but a person who's on the higher stage, he sees he's living in a very abominable condition. Like sometimes you go near the railway station and all, you'll find that there are some people who are drunk and so drunk that they have urinated in their own clothes and they are lying in the platform or somewhere. It's stinking, but they are very happy with that. So this is the illusion which is there, but by knowledge, by good association, and taking instruction from the Shastra, the Guru, the saintly persons, one should understand what is the value of life and live like that. So this is instructed by Krishna that Nirashit, one should be unnecessarily desireful more than his necessities of life. This is called Nishri. Nishri. Another meaning is that not very much fond of material enjoyment, and that is possible when he is in full knowledge that I am not this body, I am spiritual soul. My necessity is how to advance in spiritual knowledge. Then he called become Nishri. These are the items for tapasya, austerity, and penance. One has to take shelter of Krishna or his representative. Therefore, this movement is to give chance to people how to think of Krishna constantly. The human form of life is meant for attaining Gyan. Gyan means knowledge. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. This Gyan can be attained by tapasya. Tapasya means austerity, and if we attain knowledge and undergo austerities, then we become purified. Conquered over material necessities, so this is called penance. Here it is said, Bahavo Gyan Tapasa. First of all, Gyan, understanding our position, this is called Gyan, and then practice Tapasya. Tapasya means make these things, material necessities, zero. That is called Tapasya. Tapasya, because we are accustomed to all these things, eating, sleeping, mating, fearing, so to give up, it is not possible all of a sudden. That's not possible. Because we are as accustomed, just like the fan is rotating. You stop the switch, it will rotate at least for some time because the force is there. Similarly, even if we accept that these things should be stopped, no more eating more, no more sleeping, no more sex, no more fearing, that should be. There must be determination. But it may go around because we practice to this. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Apiche suduracharo bhajte mam ananya bhag sadhur eva sa manvatavya. If we take to Krishna conscious successfully, even due to our past habits, we are attached to all things. Krishna says it does not matter. But you keep yourself away always in Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada said, now executing this tapasya penances, are you loser? You are not loser. Now anyone who will come from outside, they will see in our society, our members, boys and girls, they say bright faced. Do they not? They see distinction. Our one priest in a plain cloth, I was going from Los Angeles to Hawaii. One priest came to me in the play. So he asked my permission, can I talk with you? I said, why, yes, why not? So his first question was that I see your disciples very bright faced. How it has been done? He is sincere. So where is the loss? By denying all these things, sinful activities, we are not loser. We can live very simple life. We can sit down on the floor like right now. Sinful activity, by losing sinful activities, we are not loser. We do not require much furniture, neither large amount of gorgeous dress. So tapasya required. So if we advance in spiritual conscious life, we must accept some sort of tapasya. In Kali Yuga, we cannot accept such severe types of tapasya as in the cold. We go underneath, underwater, sometimes drowning or sometimes up to this and then meditate to chant our Hare Krishna. That is not possible, the minimum. So tapasya must be there. So ritual is a practice based on tapasya. Unless one undergoes the ritualistic ceremony, he remains unclean. But in this age, because it's practically impossible to induce people to take these ritualistic processes, therefore it is recommended that chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is special advantage of this age, that by constant chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he automatically becomes purified. That is recommended given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Cheto Darpana Marjana. The beginning is cleaning the heart because we are impure on account of dirty things within our heart accumulate life after life in animalistic way of life. So everything, advancement of spiritual life, culture, tapasya means cleansing the heart. So this process, chanting the Mahamantra, the first installment of benefit is cleansing the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. And once heart is cleansed, then it becomes eligible for being free from the clutches of Maya or the materialistic way of life. Hare Krishna. So, if there is any question or doubts or any comments, please feel free to ask. And thank you once again for giving your precious time.
I had some thoughts, but my phone is there, so I couldn't write it down, but I'm trying to. For like regulative principles, and that's it. Is it like this? Like we are just chanting, dancing, feasting, and we get little by little purified?
Yes. Actually, I was once listening to conversation by one very advanced devotee, Narayani Mataji, and he was talking to, I think she was in a session, so she mentioned that all of us think that Srila Prabhupada disappeared in the year 1977. But physically he is away, but the thing is that he has given high responsibility and he is taking care of this entire universe, this part of the universe. So it's not that he is actually gone anywhere. Like Krishna, he is within, around us, very much helping us. So he knew, in fact, if we just look at it, he was expert in, he was being a Bengali, so he was expert in Bengali, in Hindi, and in Sanskrit. But he was also educated in English school, medium schools, and convent schools. So he was very well versed in English also. So for us to learn even one language is a bit difficult. And he was expert in 4 languages and on mundane platform. But at the same time, he was expert in Vedic literature. In fact, right from cooking, how to dress, how to take cleaning, construction, everything, he was expert in everything. Now, so for such a person, it was very easy that he knew all these things because first of all, he was empowered. He was the chosen one, as you would say. And at the same time, he knew all the Shastras, but he knew that how many people will be able to have that type of opportunities and mentality to do all the things which he had learned and undergone. And even if somebody would try to exactly copy, he will not be able to do from all the sukriti which he was getting from the past lives and all the responsibilities which he was getting. So keeping all these things in mind, it's something like this, that if you ask a person some question, the person willingly wants to answer you, will give you as per his or her capabilities, what they are capable of, with the best of their intention, they'll give you that knowledge. That's why when we were, last week we were here, Leela Shuk Prabhu was mentioning that we should be respecting our parents and our teacher, because everything said and done with all their limitations, they have given us what they think is best for us based on their own experiences and what their life has taught them. So we should be always respecting them. So same way, Srila Prabhupada had achieved what all we could ever dream in our lives. Not we cannot even dream what he had already achieved. So he gave his condensed knowledge in a very simple form, in the language which we could understand. Like, how many of us knew what does Atsto Brahma Jigyasa means? And Shilpapa said that an intelligent person begins his life by saying, or knowledge, a journey of knowledge, by saying Atsto Brahma Jigyasa. So it is such a complex thing, but he made it so simple so that we don't have to search what does Sanskrit mean, what Atsto means, what Brahma means, what Jigyasa means. But he stated that this is this. Here everything is ready-made. It's something like this. You are going to a la carte menu at some continental hotel, and then you are asking. You don't have to have all the skills of chef, and you have to have that type of ambience of a continental hotel, international coached and trained staff who has gone through rigorous stress and process. You just go there and eat. That's what. So Shri Prabhupada has done that. He has done all those specialized things, and he has given it in a simple manner. Just follow four regulatory principles, chant Hare Krishna, and he'll lead a very simple life, lead a sattvic life, and then you will automatically achieve perfection in life. That's the beginning.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it sounds very simple, but if you say, oh God, what have I done? But the thing is that we are thinking only about this life. We are not thinking about what we have done in the past life. We get very happy just to think because of the literature, and out of context we think, okay, we are sitting in temple, we are talking to devotees, I have already perfected our life. No, that's not the case. Because these are all the sukritis or the good karmas of past life or pious activities of our past lives, that we have achieved this position. But at the same time, the very fact we are still struggling to control our thoughts, we cannot even control our thoughts. Forget about anything else. We cannot control even our breathing or blinking of our eyes. So how can we control our past karmas and all those things? So what we are very thinking, very compartmentalized thinking that we have achieved something like that's not the case, because what we are seeing is the reactions of our good karma. But what about the bad karmas? The very fact we are having body aches, we are having physical discomfort, we have mental discomfort, we are having so many problems along with us. You'll see that some devotees, despite their medical condition, they are helping us in this temple and where elsewhere you can think of. So that means that what we are seeing, these are also the reactions. Like, if for 20 years I've been smoking and suddenly I give up and I think, okay, my life has improved. Yes, now I'm not polluting it further, so it is somewhat improved. But what about those reactions which are there? What about this smoke or the carcinogens which we had fed our bodies? They are still there, but they are getting reduced. Okay, we are not committing further problems for our body, so body is recovering a little bit, but that doesn't mean it has fully recovered. So that's what Shilpa was mentioning, that when you are following all these regulatory principles and chanting, so you are definitely advancing in spiritual life, but at the same time, you are trying to clean your heart. Which, if you look at a mirror which is very dusty, you can't see anything. And in fact, sometimes you go when you are going in the buses, you realize some buses are so dirty that you can't even see what is outside. So same thing is with the mirror. When the mirror is very dirty, you can't see what is happening out there. But when you clean the mirror a little bit, you see some image. But when you clean totally, then you can see as yourself as you are visible to others. So same way, when you are cleaning your heart, or when we are cleaning our hearts because of this chanting and following regulatory principles, we are becoming cleaner and clearer. We are becoming for higher destination. But if we come to the situation where we realize that Krishna is everywhere and I am meant only to serve Krishna and I love Krishna with all my heart, and we start doing in our behavior, that we would be able to understand that we are now perfecting our lives. Does that answer the question, Prabhu?
Yes. It was good. And yeah, that's we must understand our past life. When we get little purification and like we shouldn't think that okay, now I'm so good and now I'm ready, and then we go somewhere there do some things that because we are little more powerful, and suddenly and then we go there and we forget everything, and then we are again suffering a lot.
Actually, Shilpa mentioned about this Gaj Snan. Those who have read this Gajendra Moksha prayers, the typical tendency, elephant is a very good animal. That's why generally temples have elephants in India. But also, animal is in the this elephant is in the mode of ignorance. So it is said about Gaj Snan, which is typical state of any human being, that we take bath as elephants and then again come out in the dry and we put dirt over it to dry also. So basically, if you realize, we are nullifying the effect of taking bath. And Shilpa had also mentioned, I'm not exactly remembering where, but he has mentioned that anything which is associated with Krishna is not ordinary. So even the Maya is not ordinary. Just when a person thinks he or she has perfected life and achieved sannyas, at the end of sannyas also, Maya still tests that is this person free to go to a spiritual world, or let me just test. So sannyasi may also come under division, oh, I have achieved. And that subtle ego makes that sannyasi also fall down. So it is very, very, very tricky situation we are in. And that's why Parpadiyat Vidam. So when we think we have achieved, we may not have achieved. That is one of the another religions of Maya or Krishna's test to check whether this is person 24 karat gold, because Krishna wants 24 karat gold. Anything less than that has to go under austerities. In fact, if you read the pastimes of Narad Muni, who had such great disciples like Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, even he was just 7-year-old child and his mother died, and he had this Sukriti. There was no guidance, but the Paramatma within his heart was telling him to go and meditate. And when he perfected his meditate, he had a vision of Vishnu. What Vishnu said that now if you think of it, what has Narad Muni done? He has, as per our understanding, he has cleared everything, all his debts, but still, Lord Vishnu tells him, no, we'll meet another lifetime. Then, of course, the custom, that the thing comes again of the past lives. He had some things which coming from past life. So we should not be ever taking our position for granted, because the minute we start getting comfortable, chances are we'll get another attack of Maya, like heart attack, and we'll again fall down. There's a danger.
That's so nice. We should always think not just this life, next life also, and past life, like whole picture.
Yeah, it's a continuum actually. There's no beginning, no end.
Yeah, yeah. Who was that king you was talking about there, that he was so attached to his wife? And
he was King Purvarava. He was coming from the Moon dynasty. He was, I think, Som's grandson. And he was actually very pious king, very powerful king, and in fact he was so powerful and so good that even demigods took his help in fighting their divine battles. So when Urvashi, or the Apsara which was given to Indra by Lord Vishnu himself, again there's another pastime that Indra was trying to test Lord Vishnu, one of the avatars, that okay, let me check how austere is this. Let me send one Apsara. That's a typical trick of Indra, because every time anybody is meditating, Indra starts getting disturbed that this person must be quoting my Indrasan. So that is the time he sends. So then Lord Vishnu smiled at him, and then from his thighs he just produced another Apsara. He said, okay, this is my gift to you. And then Indra understood his mistake. Okay, Lord Vishnu understands what is happening with me. Not only he understands what attracts me, so he has given this up. So that Apsara, she had made some mistake, so she was condemned to go to planet Earth, and that's where she found this King Pururava. And is the same, he's ancestors of Pandavas. The pastime goes like that. He loved being with her, but a particular time came, and then she left him, and then he just went mad. That something like this. You know what is a pacifier? Which some people in India we call nipple. You give small child when the child is still suckling milk. So that when child is getting very very uncomfortable and is not getting milk from mother, so mother gives, okay, he has taken sufficient milk, so mother gives the child that pacifier or that nipple in his mouth.
Yeah.
So it becomes pacified.
Yeah.
So same is the situation. Like, so this is when this person was realizing, okay, now I'm denied of my pacifier, or that Apsara is not there anymore. So he went mad. So he went searching for her, and after a long time, he found that she was in Kurukshetra. So he goes there and says, "Why did you leave me?" So say, "Why don't you just please go and please the Gandharvas?" So he meditated and prayed to them, and then they gave look-alike Urvashi to him. But as she started talking, so he suddenly realized that she's not that, and he then made further austerities, and then after that he pleased Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, and then he was given this benediction that he could go to Gandharva, and then he could associate with one night every year. So he was happy with that also, and then he actually get around 6 times. He got 6 sons or something like that, and all powerful kings and all those things later on. But the thing is that he was still not satisfied. And then when she again left, then suddenly one day he realized that what am I actually doing? After enjoying so much, but still I'm thinking, and then I'm attached to her, but she leaves me just like that, as if I did not even matter. I'm just nothing. I'm insignificant. And then he started lamenting. And suddenly, when he was singing the Aila suddenly he remembered his constitutional position. Is a same pastime you can think of. Do you remember similar realization was in another person's pastimes?
Yeah.
Who?
Fifth canto, there is King Agnitra.
And Ajamil.
Yeah, Ajamila and King Agnitra and Purvachit Teresa.
So that is where, see, basically, it's not that what we are doing austerity, they are going in vain. When we are in the most complicated or tricky situation, then Krishna actually protects. Krishna is just not sitting there idly. When the Krishna realizes, okay, this person actually needs my guidance. It is said like that when the disciple is ready, a guru appears or teacher appears. So same way, when Krishna sees, okay, this person needs my help, that is the time kings will realize. So Purava also suddenly realized, okay, what am I doing? Though he was lamenting, but the minute he started singing his thoughts, lamentation came out of his mouth, and suddenly his heart was clean. And then suddenly he realized, what I was doing? I was wasting my life. And actually, he's lamenting about his mistakes, and then he perfects his life. So Krishna is not there as one side. No, you made a mistake, you will be punished. No, if you are ready, Krishna helps all the time.
Yeah.
And it is said that Krishna never forgets us.
Yeah, we must get that determination.
Yeah, we should keep practicing so that we don't forget Krishna, so that Krishna does not forget us.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
And in fact, when we are actually loving Krishna all the time, well, I think most of the problems are already taken care of. Because that's what end objective is, to love Krishna all the time and serve. Because when you love a person, you are just not sitting like an idol. You are actually helping that person and trying to take care of the needs of that person. So what is Krishna's needs become our needs.
Yeah.
So that's why they say mother and child relationship is a special one. So when if you realize that Krishna has everything, he doesn't need anything else, but still he has his pastimes with Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Maiya. So they think that okay, our child is helpless, we need to serve. And that's exactly how Krishna wants us to serve. Just think of nothing else but Krishna. Okay, they would not think of anything, whatever is happening, Krishna. And that's why a pastime comes where Krishna was having headache. And then they were saying, what can we do? So the Krishna says, okay, give me dust from the lotus feet of devotee. And other than gopis, everybody else bogged out. So Narad Muni decided, okay, how come you are give dust of your feet to Krishna? You know you will be going to hell for eternity. He says, well, he's our ultimate object of satisfaction. If he gets little bit of peace and we have to go to hell, that's okay with us. And that's the mentality of a devotee. And that's what the Lord Krishna. So if you are thinking only about God all the time and if you are serving God, in fact, we are so engrossed in thinking about Krishna that we can't think of anything else. All our activities are automatically become a part of our tapasya. And we will not actually feel bad about it, because if you are thinking only about Krishna and Krishna is like a helpless child, we have to take care of the child. We are thinking about Krishna, obviously, what else we need? That is perfection of life. And that's what Krishna is expecting. And that's why it is said that though he had two mothers, biological mother Devaki and so-called biological, because Krishna is the source of everything, but biological mother Devaki and the caretaker mother Yashoda. But the pastimes were mentioned like that, serving which Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Maya had done were even more severe. That's why they got this benediction. So Krishna consciousness is actually very simple for the simple and complex for the complex.
Yeah.
So four regulative principles and everything, they are like crutches you give, or like you see that some people are given those, or when they are getting old, they are given sort of wheels and support system by which they can walk. So for regulative principles are like that support systems for us to walk and proceed from our position.
Yeah. That's true.
Actually, it depends on our thought process. If you are trying to keep our life simple, we don't need so many fancy things. Because go to any rich person's house and you will find that there are sofas and all those things. But you realize that that person is, when is that person actually getting the time to sit into those sofas and all those things? You see people are having houses after houses in many countries. But when do they actually go to live?
Yeah.
Like this Leo Tolstoy story, like how much land? There's a pastime like when a person is actually running. Okay, all the land you run for, you will be yours. And person becomes greedy and keeps on running, and in the end he collapses and dies. So the question of that story is like, how much land? The only land you acquire is where you are actually buried, and even that is not there, because after you are dead, how does it matter how much land was there? So it's like that. So basically, we are running after mundane activities, doing so many things. You see so many gyms or kutosalis out here. People are doing all this physical fitness and all those things. After the age of 80, slowly they dwindle and die in any case. So if a devotee lives to the age of 80 and a person who's going to gym lives the age of 80, what have they achieved? Both of them, they think the other person is a fool, but the devotee has actually done something more constructive, which is pleasing to Krishna, and that is the objective of human life. Any question, Prabhu? Any comments?
Amazing.
I have one, according to what did you say last? I was distributing books and there was some old lady who came, like, good karma, not, I mean, materially good karma. She had so nice, career and nice man and like this, and like a lot of success in material life.
So materialistically, that lady was quite successful.
Mm-hmm.
So you are saying basically you met a lady who was materially very successful in her life. Yeah, while you were
But she
distributing
was
books.
so. His man was died, and her man was died, and
So she was a widow. Her husband had died.
yeah. And then she was so depressed, and she was like, I don't want to live anymore, and she was just lamenting after his man who was so great. He was some general in army, and like this, and that Mataji was just so in agony, and like she had attained all the goals in her life, but still so
Empty and loneliness.
yeah.
It's a bit strange, but it is noticed that generally, of course, now even the marriages are becoming rarer. In fact, I was reading on news on 1st of May or May Day, many people got engaged in Finland itself. And the article was slightly sardonic. It said that, okay, though they are getting engaged, but the thing is that percentage of people who are getting married in Finland itself is also going down. And that's not an indicator of Finland. It is true for anywhere. You could think of any place, it's true for all the places.
Hmm.
So even though people love to be with each other, even the concept of marriage is also going down. But we are not talking about very high principles, but at least marriage is the least Srila Prabhupada mentioned you could do if you are trying to associate with the other person. But when you do get married, we do see many of us are coming from happy families, so we have seen our parents. But it is, as you rightly pointed out, but you are wondering why that lady, despite having ticked all the boxes or having achieved material success in life and a satisfied married life, so that she was so attached to her husband. But the thing is that when you are living with some person, suddenly you have to leave that person. That emotions and that remembrance lasts longer than we can imagine. It is something like this. There's a pastime where Srila Prabhupada had one devotee in the temple, and then when Srila Prabhupada went to other temple and came back after some months or a few years, and he found that the devotee was not there. So Srila Prabhupada asked, "So where is the devotee? I have not seen him." And other devotees did not have any answer to that. So they said, "Okay, before Srila Prabhupada asks again, we just go and try to find out where is that person." Because if Srila Prabhupada remembers, it's our duty to find out what is happening. Because generally, Srila Prabhupada wanted that we take care of all our devotees. That's how community develops and how we help each other to advance in Krishna consciousness. So one of the persons remembered that okay, this devotee was very good in repairing wrist watches. So with that, he went to all the watch repairers and all those things. And he found that he was actually hiding in one room and he was repairing watches. And then said, Srila Prabhupada wants to meet you. And then suddenly he started crying. He said, "Well, I wanted to come back, but I did not have any face. How I had left, so how could I come back? But good you came." And then he was very apologetic and he happily came back.
Hmm.
So this is how what Srila Prabhupada meant that if you feel that a devotee has left and is not coming anymore, you must go and try to find out because there might be something which is stopping. So you take care of those impediments and ask that person to come back again. Because that's how Krishna is pleased.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a fact like when a couple has been married for many years and suddenly one person leaves, it is noticed that shortly other person also leaves. It happened in my own parents' case, my uncle and aunt's case. In fact, I have 3 examples within past 6-7 years. I've seen this thing happening within my family, and then it's very difficult for you to help that person understand. Okay, that that person came with a purpose in your life now and could support you till the time it was needed for you or whatever is possible till the last moment. So to keep that person happy, you must focus on Krishna, so that it's as a homage. Like when you are praying to Krishna, that person is also taken care of. If we can somehow manage to convince that, then that slowly that person's sorrows will be given a meaningful role in Krishna consciousness. That again becomes our preaching. In fact, one of the reasons why people come to Krishna consciousness is when they are full of sorrows. Actually, there's a very good time for them to become devotees because Krishna has taken away one attachment. And it is said that Krishna says that whom Krishna loves takes away everything from them. So that lady, if you have his contact, you could say that, okay, Krishna has taken away because Krishna loves you. Now Krishna wants you to come so that you can be in more wonderful pastimes with Krishna. That's my understanding.
Yeah. Okay, we must finish now.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
She Govinda Prabhu,